Ricardo Rosset hasn't yet, and I guess it's still early stages, but he hasn't yet posted a reasonable time in this first unofficial practice session.
Number 10, radio disaster for Pedro De la Rosa, 2012 European Grand Prix. During this practice, it was clear that while HRT's Pedro De la Rosa's eyes were on the track, his mind was not. He was so busy talking to his team over the radio that he wasn't focusing on the track and evidently crashed straight into a barrier. De la Rosa was okay, but it was a strange lapse of judgment for someone who doesn't really have a penchant for making mistakes. Simply put, he should have known better. Not the worst or most terrible mistake on this list by any means, but what gets us is the reaction of his team during the whole ordeal. Can we get an awkward?
Oh, what a mistake. I will never forget this mistake. It's my first ever proper mistake of lack of concentration. There's no excuses whatsoever.
Number 9, Brake Magic, 2021 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. During the 50th lap of this race back in 2021, Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton was in second place and all seemed well until he suddenly went off course and his vehicle's tires locked up.
Perez tries to cut off Hamilton, who locks up and goes straight on. Perez leads from Sebastian Vettel, and then comes Pierre Gasly and Charles Leclerc, and Hamilton has gone from second in the race to falling out of the point.
Red Bull's Sergio Perez used the opportunity to pass Hamilton and went on to win the race. What caused the mishap?
Did I have magic on?
Yeah, but just knock that off.
I could have sworn I turned it off.
The culprit was none other than Hamilton himself, and what happened, as alluded to in this audio, was that he accidentally hit the so-called magic button, which is a specialized switch created by Mercedes that generates heat to warm up a car's front tires, which caused the vehicle to lock up. It's unfortunate that such a very small and minor lapse cost Hamilton an entire race as well as points. Number 8, Nigel Mansell doesn't see the flag, 1989 Portuguese Grand Prix. Ferrari's Nigel Mansell had everything going for him while competing, leading by 20 seconds after 40 laps. Heading towards the pits, he passed and ultimately failed to enter the designated area. The biggest mistake he made was then entering it by going in reverse.
Now that is very strange. That is theoretically driver error, but I think the McLaren team weren't giving him a very good sight of his path.
The latter is a maneuver that is not permitted in competition, and Mansell was immediately disqualified. However, he supposedly didn't see the black flag waved by the official and drove his vehicle right back on the circuit. He later had a collision with Ayrton Senna's vehicle that resulted in both men being taken out of the race.
And Mansell is trying to go through and goes off, both of them. Senna and Mansell, and Senna's out of the race. His right rear wheel is cocking right up in the air. And so that's the answer for Nigel Mansell. He was right to stay out.
Didn't really matter for Mansell since he was already out, but it certainly added more salt to the wound. Number 7, Lewis Hamilton's tire mishap, 2007 Chinese Grand Prix. At the Chinese Grand Prix back in 2007, there was something very peculiar going on with Lewis Hamilton's vehicle. His team hadn't realized that they kept it out too long in intermediates, which are tires frequently used for tracks with wet conditions.
He is on those worn-down intermediates, though. Surely Hamilton's got to think about coming in the pits this time around, but which tires would you put on? It would have to be the dries at the moment.
He was driving on a track that was now dry, so when it came time to enter the pits, he evidently had difficulty controlling the vehicle, skidded off into the gravel and out of the race.
Back your 10 into the pits anyway, comes Lewis Hamilton, he goes straight on into the gravel trap. Can he keep the wheels spinning? Can he get some momentum going? No, he can't, it's all going to get away from him.
We assure you we're not trying to pick on Lewis Hamilton, and this one was more on his team, but it just comes to show that even the best of drivers can be victims to mistakes.
He was struggling like mad on those tires out there, and they didn't bring him in, the McLaren team, any earlier. And this is the result of it. It looks like it's all going to be over. The rear wheels are still turning.
And it most certainly wouldn't be Hamilton's last. Number 6, Pastor Maldonado and the control interface. 2014 Chinese Grand Prix. You know you're going to be in for a ride, no pun intended, when the driver has such a bad reputation for getting into crashes that he's nicknamed Crash Store Maldonado. And while we were tempted to go with his 2014 Belgian GP second practice fail, for this list we'll be looking at the incident which took place during the 2014 Chinese Grand Prix. In this practice round, for whatever reason, Maldonado's focus was centered on the vehicle's control interface steering wheel. Instead of keeping his eyes on the track, he was too busy changing the device's settings, and next thing you know, he unsurprisingly found himself heading straight towards a barrier. Just another day at the office for Crash Store, we suppose. Number 5, David Coulthard hits a pit wall. 1995 Australian Grand Prix. 13-time Grand Prix winner and Scotland's very own David Coulthard was set to participate in his last Grand Prix with the Williams team, and he left with a bang, or should we say a crash? Literally. He was leading and on a sharp turn heading straight to the pit wall and never stopped. Coming off the accelerator and being on a slippery track, he was unable to slow down, resulting in an inevitable crash. Speaking on the incident afterwards, Coulthard put the blame on the car and not on himself. But let's also not forget that this wasn't his only race mishap in 1995.
It looks like David Coulthard's gone off on the warm-up lap. Well, somebody certainly has, and it's a Williams, and it is David Coulthard. Now, this is quite incredible. David Coulthard, for whatever reason, has blown his chances of winning the Italian Grand Prix before it even starts.
Number 4, Taki Inoue gets hit by a safety car. 1995 Hungarian Grand Prix. Car breakdowns are commonplace during F1 events, but none may have unfolded as bizarrely as this one here.
That's the 4th retirement out of the 24 starters. They'll have to push that car off.
At the 1995 Hungarian Grand Prix, Taki Inoue's vehicle went up in smoke, and to avoid further damage or issues, he quickly parked it and jumped out. While attempting to get a fire extinguisher to assist the marshals with taking out the fire, a medical car arrived and hit Inoue.
Oh, goodness gracious me. Now that's absolutely appalling.
Having once labeled himself as the worst Formula One driver ever, we wouldn't be surprised if he considers this moment a defining one in his career. Number 3, Nigel Mansell celebrates too early. 1991 Canadian Grand Prix. The Williams driver had utterly dominated the Canadian Grand Prix in 1991, and he was almost a minute ahead of rival Nelson Piquet. During the final lap, Mansell's ego got inflated and his concentration strayed, slowing down and taking the time to wave at the crowds.
Nigel, don't wave to the crowd too soon there, buddy.
It's not over till it's over. Oh my God.
But the worst was yet to come. Approaching the circuit's hairpin, his car stopped.
Nigel Mansell's very slow.
He's not only slow, he's stopped.
He has stopped. Nigel Mansell is beating on the car. Could this be?
He couldn't get it to start again, and he had to watch Piquet pass him and ultimately win the race.
And Nelson Piquet will pick up the victory. I can't believe it.
I don't think they can either, too, and I'm sure the Williams team absolutely can't believe it.
Oh, they must be in shock. The checkered flag is out, and it waves for Nelson Piquet.
While some believe the reason the car stopped working was because he didn't pay attention while celebrating and let the revs of his engine drop too low, or that he accidentally hit the car's kill switch, it was most certainly an embarrassing way to lose. Number 2, Lola's embarrassing debut, 1997 Australian Grand Prix.
I think we will have some small problem, I hope as small as possible.
The newly formed Lola team attempted to enter the foray of F1 racing in 1998. The plan was simple: use an entire year to prepare and ensure their cars are properly built to compete in competitions and adhere to race rules. However, their sponsor, MasterCard, put pressure on the group to qualify and compete immediately. They complied.
It's very much a learning year for Lola. They've been in Grand Prix racing before in various guises, but this is the first time that they've been in it seriously with a car of their own design.
Making its debut at the 1997 Australian Grand Prix. Both of the team's drivers were ranked last and failed to qualify. It would be the first and last race they would compete in, as the team withdrew from racing in the subsequent Grand Prix in Brazil with sponsors pulling out. The lesson to take here: always come prepared, which the Lola group clearly did not do. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few dishonorable mentions. The case of the mysterious phone, 2010 Bahrain Grand Prix. A mechanic left their mobile phone in the cockpit of Robert Kubica's F1 car.
I have the phone in my cockpit. Someone left that phone in my cockpit. Well, I should have thrown it away or come in.
Nick Heidfeld hits the door, 2002 Brazilian Grand Prix. A quick and indecisive turn results in Nick Heidfeld running through a medical car's door and hitting a barrier.
This was Heidfeld, and it was just after it happened. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Jenson Button enters the wrong pit, 2011 Chinese Grand Prix. He went to the wrong place at the wrong time.
Look at that, he's in the wrong pit. He stopped in the wrong box. This is the battle of the teams here.
And look, this is Jenson, still thinks he's driving for the team that finished first in the championship.
Ayrton Senna doesn't slow down and hits the wall, 1988 Monaco Grand Prix. This F1 legend was so angered by this mishap, he walked straight back home after exiting his vehicle.
Ayrton Senna is out of his car and out of this race.
Ayrton Senna goes out of the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix.
Absolutely incredible.
Number 1, 2005 U.S. Grand Prix tire disaster. 2005 U.S. Grand Prix. The practice for the 2005 United States Grand Prix was mired with tire failures.
On Saturday morning, Michelin wrote to the FIA saying that they did not have total assurance that all tires that qualified the cars could be used unless the vehicle speed in turn 13 could be reduced.
Michelin, whose tires were on many of the team's vehicles, requested that a chicane be added to the track for the purpose of reducing tire loads. However, the proposal was denied by F1's governing body, FIA. So, at the end of the formation lap, all the teams using Michelin tires peeled off into the pits, leaving only 6 vehicles to compete on the track. Spectators in attendance could then be heard booing throughout the race.
I'm open.
It was a bizarre incident to say the least, yet the FIA's failure to see the merit of Michelin's claims resulted in a standoff that in turn made for one of the most embarrassing and disappointing races in F1 history.
Who knows what's going to happen in the US Grand Prix? It's the strangest race ever, and it gets underway.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.